Hello, I'm Mayor Tammy Dana-Bashian. Every year in January, I present to you the State of the City. I always look forward to this opportunity to share with you the past, present, and future of our beautiful town. We call this the State of the City, but for me, this is really the state of the people, the over 73,000 of us who make up this great city. So during this year's presentation, we're going to hear from you, some of the citizens, volunteers, and city staff who make up our community. Why? Because Rowlett belongs to you. We are all working together to ensure our hometown is the place to live, work, and play. Thank you for joining me as we celebrate our 2021 accomplishments and look forward to the great times ahead.
My name is Pam, and I'm with the City of Rowlett Parks and Recreation Department. We have the Main Street Fest going on right now and Holiday Parade. Tree lighting, we have vendors selling Christmas decorations, crafts, ornaments, and then we have the parade that will be going through downtown. And this is something that is free to the community. We have about 25 events a year. We have Lunch on the Lawn, where you can come and have lunch with us. We have the Halloween event, which was a hit this past year, a drive-through. And then we also have an Easter event for humans and dogs. I just want the community to get together and to enjoy things together and learn about each other and just bring that community feel to Rowlett.
Like many North Texas cities, Rowlett has historically experienced high water and sewer rates. Instead of ranking among the highest in cost to our residents, I am so excited to report that Rowlett's water and sewer rates are now in the middle of comparable cities. We have come a long way in this journey to provide competitive water and sewer rates to our residents. How was this possible? There were several contributing factors, including an increase in population, moderated rate increases from the Water District, and the completion of critical financial strategies after the 2012 through 2015 drought. As a result, we were able to reduce residents' utility bills for the third straight fiscal year, this year by lowering sewer rates by 5%. These strategies also resulted in an improvement to Rowlett's water and sewer revenue bond rating from A+ to AA-. This improved bond rating directly lowers our taxpayers' cost of improving and maintaining our critical water and sewer infrastructure.
My name is Susan Bell, and I am the Assistant Director of the Senior Advisory Board. The thing that I like most about volunteering is that I do like to give back, and I absolutely love people, love to know everything that I can about them. The city itself, it really just kind of has a very small town feel, even though it isn't really all that small. I think Rowlett is an amazing place. I think if one gets into volunteerism, however small or large the capacity is, you will love it, and it just gets the focus off of yourself and onto others.
None of us will soon forget the winter storm of February 2021. I would like to take a moment to recognize the incredible work by our city staff, volunteers, and residents during this extreme weather event. At a time when so many across our state were in great peril, this town once again stepped up to care for our own. From opening warming stations at the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center and at Bolorama, to staff and volunteers turning off water for over 300 households, to emergency services responding to over 1,000 calls in the height of the storm, and to neighbors helping neighbors, we once again showed the best of our community. While we did not experience citywide disruptions of water and wastewater service like so many did across the state, the lack of backup generators at our 2 water pump stations and at half of our 26 sewer lift stations was a grave concern. As a result, we now have installed stationary backup power generators for our water pump stations and plan on using American Rescue Plan Act funding for the remaining sewer lift station generators. These investments will improve the resiliency and reliability of our system and significantly mitigate the risk of service disruptions to our community during power outages.
This past year, I was elected to be on the Park and Recs Board, Advisory Board, and I was part of the Social Media Committee. And yeah, we had a whole lot of fun, man, highlighting our parks in our city and making fun videos to let all of our community know about the awesome parks that we have here in Rowlett. I'm excited to use my talents and my gifts to uplift and bring hope and bring energy to our city. And yes, I have been a part of the diversity, singing, the Christmas programs, the Main Fest programs. You know, I'm really passionate about our city because over the past 6 years that my family and I have been here, we have seen the growth. We have a diverse community that's accepting of people. We have businesses that also get involved in our school system. I'm a district-wide volunteer for GISD, and a lot of businesses in Rowlett give back to those schools for school supplies. And so I'm just excited because I see what the mayor is doing, all the way to the city manager and to all of the staff over different departments, the unity that we have here in order that our city be one of the best cities in the entire state of Texas.
2021 was another year for our community to manage everyday life in the middle of a pandemic. Rowlett Ready, a program of the Rowlett COAD made up of volunteers who are called on whenever there is a disaster declaration affecting our city, was activated to help direct disaster-related resources to our citizens in need. Rowlett Ready administered several business assistance programs, resulting in almost $1 million in grants funded through the CARES Act to over 80 Rowlett businesses and nonprofits during an unprecedented economic downturn due to the pandemic. In total, the city received over $3.8 million in CARES Act funding. In addition to the $1 million in grants provided to Rowlett businesses, these CARES Act funds were allocated to individual assistance programs for our residents for rental and utility assistance and food support programs, as well as for reimbursement of direct pandemic costs. Rowlett also has been allocated $6.8 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds. To improve our city's resiliency, we will utilize these funds for the remaining 13 lift station generators, utility projects including eliminating dead-end water lines, expanding city and public broadband, and increasing our bandwidth.
You know, I've been coming to this center for 27 years, 4 or 5 times a week. I try to do a variety of weightlifting, running. I've been at some classes where there was stretching and yoga. This trail around side is just awesome. I love it. You know, the thing that's so amazing is that the price is so unbelievably good. And what you can do, the variety of things you can do here is amazing.
In 2019, the City Council created the Rowlett Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission, which was formed to enhance our community by celebrating and fostering mutual respect, integrity, and fairness for all.
So our big signature event is Celebrate Diversity. We hold that every October. It coincides with National Diversity Day, and the goal is really to highlight the varied and vibrant cultures here in Rowlett. You know, we do that through cultural performances, vendors, kids activities. This year we even hosted a community art project, and that final art piece is going to be installed in the library, so I encourage everybody to come out and check that out. We also started up this year our monthly meetup, Diversity Hour at the Tower. So every second Monday, we invite community members to come here downtown at the Water Tower here in Veterans Park and just meet up with members of the community and our commission and discuss diversity, equity, inclusion here in Rowlett. I've seen a lot of changes in the city, but what I love most is that despite, you know, how Rowlett keeps growing and changing, it still feels like home.
Also in 2021, the Commission worked with the Dallas and Rockwall County election boards to ensure easily accessible curbside voting for Rowlett voters with disabilities. And the Commission, in partnership with Police Chief Godfrey, conducted a review of a select set of Rowlett Police Department policies and provided recommendations for improvements to further promote and ensure a safe community for all our residents.
It started to provide tornado relief, to raise some money for tornado relief, and then eventually that need was filled, and so now we have focused on supporting the first responders that supported our people when we needed them. Well, we're having a first responder dinner, and we started this in 2019, and this year we're inviting all first responders, including the normal ones that you think of, but also Public Works, and we've invited the City Council and all the volunteers as well that work with the police and fire departments. I just love Rowlett and always have ever since I moved here in 2001 from Garland, and it's a great community, and the people are just amazing, and I think we have good governance, and we have awesome first responders.
During fiscal 2021, the Rowlett Fire Department responded to almost 7,000 Priority 1 calls, a 21.5% increase over the prior year. While their response time to Priority 1 calls improved to 6 minutes and 11 seconds, this level of calls continues to illustrate the need for additional staffing for our growing community. I am so pleased to share that the department was awarded a $2.7 million Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response, or SAFER, grant to enhance staffing and improve response times. The department also received a 2018 SAFER grant, which initially funded 9 firefighters to complete our staffing plan for Fire Station Number 4 and saved the city $1.5 million over the 3-year grant period. We held the grand opening of our new Fire Station Number 2 in October 2021, replacing the previous station that served our southeast quadrant for the past 40 years. This 19,500 square foot facility also includes a state-of-the-art emergency operations center and training center. Fire Station Number 2 was designed and built to support future growth to serve Rowlett for the next 50 years.
I'm Debbie Rose.
I'm Rob Rose. We've been in Rowlett since 1982. In fact, this is our 4th house in Rowlett.
We had a fire. We were out of town, and our granddaughter was here, and she called the 911.
Rowlett 911, what is the address of your emergency?
And then got everybody here. Found out later about how the fire department would move things, tarp them to keep them dry and safe, and they did just a fantastic job.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of the city, and try to let people know that every chance I get.
2021 was also a busy year for our police department. They received over 95,000 calls, including over 1,300 Priority 1 calls. The department also conducted nearly 8,000 grid patrols and participated in 360 crime prevention events. Unfortunately, the department's average response time for Priority 1 calls increased 3.5% to 7 minutes and 23 seconds. We are, however, very pleased to report that in fiscal 2021, we experienced an 11.5% decrease in the number of Category 1 crimes. Category 1 crimes are the most serious and include such crimes as homicide, robbery, assault, and theft. The police department attributes the decline in Category 1 crimes in part due to additional staffing, prevention efforts, and the utilization of crime tracking software to make better decisions on the deployment of our police officers. In order to address the increase in response time, the department is planning to add an additional substation on the east side of Rowlett and hiring additional officers to meet the population growth in our community. Under the umbrella of our police department, our Crisis Assistance Program provides support to residents who require specific services due to an emergency or crisis situation. This year, the city was awarded over $190,000 through a New Directions grant from Dallas County for our Crisis Assistance Program. With this funding, we were able to add a fully licensed clinician whose emphasis is to conduct more in-depth follow-ups, referrals, positive contact, and care to the citizens of Rowlett in distress.
When someone experiences a crisis event, which could be a multitude of things, we're the ones who follow up. We offer resources to not only them but to their families as well, because the main goal and the mission of the Crisis Assistance Program is to give them the best possible resources to ensure that their crisis will see a resolution.
I think it's an excellent program. I've actually had an opportunity to utilize it personally. I have great respect for it. Unfortunately, a lot of departments do not have this resource, and in today's complex social world, it's much needed and very valuable, and I think it's an excellent service for the citizens of Rowlett.
You know, and sometimes it may be just a simple phone call that they just need someone to talk to, and that's where we come in just to help.
The Crisis Assistance Program has provided this enhanced level of care to over 900 citizens since the implementation of this grant.
When we moved from out of state, I knew that the library was going to be one community place that was good for me and my family. At the time, I had a 6-month-old daughter. We came really anytime my daughter wasn't napping and attended story time, but also really got to know the staff and anyone else who would talk to us. Everybody here is friendly, and I consider it a place of being known for me and my children. Like, we walk in and they know us by name. And it's not just because we're here all the time. It's really because they care about their patrons. My best feature has been probably 2 things. The first is the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program. So I've done that for all 3 of my kids with phenomenal results. They have all spoken early and often, and I attribute it completely to that program. And then the second thing that I highly recommend for any mom is the reserve feature at the library. So, you know, online you can reserve all of your books, and they just either text you or email you and say they're ready, and it's all for free.
Rowlett has a vibrant economy and is growing at a rapid pace, evidenced by $762 million in new private investment in the past 5 years, including $18.5 million in commercial projects during 2021. And we expect to see an additional $1.5 billion in new development over the next 5 to 7 years. Sales tax growth is an important barometer of economic vitality. We are so pleased to report that we collected almost $8.1 million in sales tax revenue for fiscal 2021, an increase of over 12.5% compared to the prior year. Sapphire Bay is projected to add nearly $1 billion in new taxable value, resulting in nearly $165 million in revenue from property, sales, and hotel occupancy taxes over a period of 20 years. Sapphire Bay construction is progressing with the streets, water, sewer, and other infrastructure nearing completion. And recently, Sapphire Bay announced that Hyatt Destination Resort will operate the hotel and conference center. We look forward to sharing our development partners' announcements about the Surf and Beach Club, along with various entertainment, dining, and retail projects in the coming months. With a focus on business and professional services, educational services, healthcare and life sciences, and advanced manufacturing, Rowlett's North Shore offers over 1,000 acres of highly visible property with direct access to PGBT. We are currently working with development partners to bring a catalytic project to the North Shore and hope to be making an exciting announcement for the area in the coming months.
My name is Michael Gallops, and I am the president and CEO of the Rowlett Area Chamber and Visitor Center. The 4-star designation, it's an accreditation program done by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and it really sets us apart. We are one of 200 chambers out of 7,000 that are accredited. So we're in the top 3% of chambers in the country. We have new businesses opening weekly and almost daily, it seems like. Tons of new businesses coming in. There's even more coming online. Sapphire Bay and North Shore coming. There are going to be hundreds of new businesses coming to this city. You know, I've lived in Rowlett for a little over 17 years, and it's been phenomenal. I have lived a lot of different places, and all of the other places that I lived, I never felt like I was really part of the community. Here, I feel welcomed. I feel like I have some ownership and some say in what goes on. And in spite of the growth, we still have that small town feel, and I love that about Rowlett.
In 2015 and 2018, the city held successful bond elections totaling over $85 million to fund critical paving and drainage, public safety, and parks projects. In 2021, citizens approved an additional $22 million to fund street reconstruction projects in several neighborhoods, including Lakeland Heights and Country Air Estates, as well as for critical street projects in Toller Business Park and East Industrial Street, erosion control measures at Long Branch Creek, and an outdoor warning system for public safety. The city is in dire need of new facilities, including a public safety building, a public works facility, animal services, a permanent library, and a new city hall. We have simply outgrown our current facilities, and many of our existing buildings are in a state of disrepair. This year, Council was presented with several options and cost estimates for future facilities to service our community through full build-out. City staff is now developing a long-term plan to identify potential resources to fund this critically needed investment in city facilities over the next 10 to 20 years. We hope all our residents will stay engaged in this process, which is so important to our community.
I saw Max on the shelter site July of last year, and he was literally dumped from a moving vehicle. They found out the day before that he was available for adoption that he actually had parvo. So he fought for his life for about a month before he was able to be released. We do something called lure coursing, where he pretty much chases a little bunny rabbit as fast as he can. He's got a bunch of different titles now, and he's living the best life. I volunteer for Friends of Rowlett Animals, so we help out the Rowlett shelter and the Garland shelter, walking the dogs, taking them for photos, adoption events. I've never seen a shelter quite like this. The guys here really love every animal that comes through here.
Another area requiring investment is the completion of improvements to Herforth Park. It is important that we continue to explore funding options, including a potential bond offering, to complete this beautiful amenity nestled in the heart of the village of Rowlett downtown. And certainly, we continue to have significant infrastructure needs requiring dedicated funding in several key areas, including street, alley, and sidewalk neighborhood improvements, expansion of Miller Road Bridge, widening of Chisa between Miller Road and Highway 66, expansion of Dalrock Road from 4 to 6 lanes, and construction of the Merritt Road interconnector.
Well, VRock was established almost 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years ago in February, to serve veterans across the city and across the Lake Ray Hubbard region and now across North Texas. I absolutely love that program. I was honored when Mayor Tammy came to me about a little over 3.5 years ago now with this idea. We implemented it on Veterans Day in 2018, and it has shined a spotlight on veterans across all eras. We've had them from World War II up to the current war on terror, and it's led to some really great moments in City Hall.
The Navy calls me a Senior Chief Petty Officer, qualified in submarines, and I've lived in Rowlett for 50 years. It was a good thing to come up with an idea like that, because it gives veterans, it increases the morale of veterans who have served, and maybe possibly other youngsters that might want to join.
Our amenities, our hometown feel, a strong local economy, and a bright future makes us one of the most sought-after places to live in the DFW Metroplex. I am so grateful for the active partnerships, public and community leadership, and our citizens' enduring commitment to volunteerism. These connections make our Rowlett stronger, as proven during the response to the 2015 tornado, and further demonstrated throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. as well as the unprecedented winter weather event we endured this past year. It is this sense of community spirit that makes Rowlett the place to live, work, and play. The state of our city is strong, resilient, and sustainable, and the best is yet to come. This is my final State of the City address. I encourage all of you to get to know the candidates for mayor and the open council seats for the upcoming May local election. And just as importantly, I encourage you to stay involved with your city and supportive of our elected officials as they have stepped up to represent you. They are Rowlett citizens, just like you and me, who want to share their time, expertise, and knowledge to make a difference in our community. Throughout this presentation, we've heard stories of what people love about Rowlett and met some people that make our city great. As I close, I'd like to share with you why I love Rowlett. Rowlett was the place my husband and I chose to raise our family. We wanted to bring hometown values to our two sons during their formative years, which is not always easy in the middle of a metroplex. I will be forever grateful for the love and support this community provided to our family through our neighborhood, citywide, church, scout, and school connections. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your mayor. Thank you, Rowlett.